Good morning, everybody. Don't have my wireless broadcast monitor on. Batteries are dead. Charging it right now. Hope to have it working in a minute here. Getting the show started a little late today. As always, Mr. Garcia is late. Anyway, let's get... I know, Pedro. I know. Like clockwork, ladies and gentlemen. Like clockwork. Anyway, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live. That's right, it says it right there on the masthead, so it must be true. That's what we're called. Anyway, it is February 16th, 2026. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost time for the stores to start loading up Christmas again. That's right. I know, it's a little crazy, right? It's a little crazy that we're this far into February already. Seems just like it was New Year's Eve the other day. Now it's approaching the middle of February. Middle of February means a couple of things. One, we get to show you how the month's going to turn out. Well, how we think it's going to turn out. I addressed this on a Rumble Premium last night. I went over Bitcoin and gold and the monthly outlooks for them, and set up some live, well, not live, but demo trades. We're going to review, see how those did, and then of course Pedro's going to talk about Bitcoin, ETH, and gold, and all the usual suspects here. Told some people earlier that ETH is going to $3, so yeah, we're going to have to justify that somehow, and. But as always, BTC 67,000. Tried to get up there, tried to move up. Oh, that's the gold chart there. Never mind. And BTC took a little slide today. Low liquidity Monday here. It is President's Day in the U.S., Family Day in Canada, in which everyone doesn't do anything with their family. They just run off and go stuff with the boys. It's ice fishing season. It's ski season. It's all that type of stuff. So. But anyway, as I said, Bitcoin just sliding a little bit in light trading today. Gold here, as you can see, it's still, here's the big dumperooski from the end of January. Still doing its lower lows, or higher lows and higher highs, doing a little bit of a recovery. We'll show you where the level that I predicted it would come down to today to grab a buy order. And we'll talk about that. I guess while we're waiting for Pedro, we'll just get right into that. Remember, this is a show that's interactive. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means it's an interactive show. It means ask questions. It means ask questions. Let's see here. Let's see who's watching first here today. Where is the great comment machine? Let's see. Crypto Unicorn says here. Let's just address the crowd here real quickly before I get into that, otherwise known as stalling. Welcome everyone. Please like, subscribe, follow, repost, flow. Spelled that wrong. Follow, repost, chat, comment. Just do it. There we go. Let's see which platforms. Oh, I'm still in the YouTube thing. Should be in that. Did it get Twitch? No, it did not get Twitch or... Let's reload these things. Sorry, everybody, while I put together a little... I know this isn't the exciting start of a show that you like to see. There we go. And, of course, X isn't working. X has been changing the programming, and it can't post to it, and can't read it. All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the good stuff here today. Get rid of this music, though. Let's open up the yeahs. And looks like someone in my household is pregnant. They're advertising Pampers on my... but the answer is no, nobody's pregnant. I swear, anytime I start something, I get the ads for the TV over here. Anyway, we're gonna start out with gold here today. First of all, let's figure out how many are watching. Not many yet. Come on, people. Oh, I think I got Pedro in my ear, ladies and gentlemen. I'll bring Pedro on when he's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to bring this on because Pedro, your mic's live now. I'm sure everyone wants to. The laundry machine is on the fritz.
Yeah. The bucket's off. That's the best way.
Bunk, 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 bunk.
Yeah, my bucket was having. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna have to just buy a new one. Still a pain though, because I gotta wash some clothes. All right, I'm coming on right now. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? How's the weekend? How was your weekend, brother?
It was good. It's good. It's it's a holiday week in the U.S. It's President's Day, and thus I made a graphic here saying Bitcoin, a modern marvel. Would past U.S. presidents be able to discuss policy on something that they couldn't possibly understand, or could they? Anyway, last night I did a Rumble Premium. Got an hour out of the way there talking about Bitcoin and gold, and how I saw the month shaping out for both Bitcoin and gold, and even for the old TradingView paper trading demo account, picked two places that I thought would be great places to put in some buy orders, and I was going to show how those worked out today. But the weekend was good. Didn't do much except stuff around the house. It was winter. It's Winterlude here in Ottawa, Pedro, which is like a winter festival. So they have chainsaw carvings of ice and logs and ice skating on the canal and all stuff you do out. All the bars build like an ice bar outside them. So when people have cold themed drinks, they build fires and all that type of stuff. The whole downtown area smelled like the old wood burning stove days. And it was nice. It was a nice little weekend. Like I said, didn't do much. Because obviously I had to put a lot of effort into Valentine's Day, which was Saturday, the evening of that. But the missus and I had a nice time. Got roses, all the usual stuff, that type of thing.
That's awesome.
That was it.
Did she? Did you guys talk about the thing?
The thing? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, we won't talk about it here then. Shh, leave it alone. My bad.
Oh. Pedro is messing with me, ladies and gentlemen. But you never know with Pedro because he has so many topics that he's talking about all the time. My brain's usually flooded by him. So when he says, "Did you talk about the thing?" And
You're right. I do. You're right.
You know what's funny is when you were coming on, I had the main stage up and the TV on in the corner. All of a sudden, started running ads for Pampers diapers, and the advertisers know people are pregnant before husbands.
That's what's up.
And but anyway, no, there's no news or anything like that. I still don't have your camera on here.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Got like 15 people reaching out to me all at one time. It's the funniest thing. Hey, don't reach out to me this time. It's the only time I'm not free. There it is. Right? How many times did you get that?
Anyway, Bitcoin's volume, ladies and gentlemen, you can see 42 billion over the past 24 hours. Much of that is Asia and London volume. Not a lot of volume coming out of the futures exchanges in the U.S. It's electronic trading. Well, it's all electronic trading now, but extended electronic trading hours today in the U.S. because it is a holiday. It's a holiday, so the markets are thin liquidity. Not a lot going on. As they say, be careful. Be careful trading today. Make sure you have a good plan because the normal things that you look for when trading don't usually happen. Oh, look at that. It came right down to it. Yesterday on the show, Pedro, I looked at the chart and said, you know what? This would make a great level to buy here. And you've been teaching me to not just FOMO into the market when it's moving, but to pick a place where the market's going to be and get in there.
Yes.
And as you can see here, I put an order in to buy Bitcoin. I actually can't read that. At 67,245, and it was way off the market. It was about we were trading 68,006 at the time.
Yes.
And so it was well below it, and I said, no, but that looks like a good place. And by golly gee willikers, Pedro, this morning here at 10:30, it came right down within a few dollars of that line.
Yeah.
It just boop, right down. In the thin market, someone put a big sell order in, cleared the order book for buys out.
Oh my goodness.
I know, shocking, right? I can't believe it. went right down and got it. I was $20 off. Or $30 off in a 1,000-point move.
Yep.
And my order did not get hit, and Bitcoin is retracing.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's funny. The orders, the sell order that drove that must have been just small enough not to trigger the whole series to get down to that level. But anyway, showed.
But you know what that means, though, right?
Means it could go back down.
Well, it means that you're starting to see the market correctly.
Yeah. Oh, wait till you see the gold.
Talk to me, Goose.
All right. Last night on where is it? It's this one here. This is me last night. I took a screenshot of this showing you my gold trade. I put in a buy order at essentially $5,000 last night at about 9 p.m. or so, 8 p.m. somewhere in there, and then gold this morning just booped right down there, just right here, boop. This is a 5-minute chart. It came booped down to 4,992, $8 more than I thought, and then went down in the next 5 minutes a few more dollars. And it was all part of the zone eating up orders, and then came back up nicely. And I actually on the demo trades. This is the first time I've done this, Pedro. I demo traded gold, not micro gold. Or mini gold.
The money's so real. The money's like you're like holy shit.
I was like holy shit. How am I up a couple $1,000s already? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's the results. The results of of that here. I actually I was up $850 shortly thereafter during the show, and then I ended up selling it. I had a target of much higher, but decided to reverse and do its up and down thing, and so I had a target up higher to make about $4,000. In my mind, it was 400 because I trade the mini golds, not 4,000. and it retraced, but now is working its way up again. So both trades that I called out on the show, based on research and what the great man Pedro has been teaching me, came into play last night. And sitting here this morning early, looking at the charts, I was like, they're not going to come down there. It's a thin liquidity day. And then both of them, boop, boop, and just booped them.
It is. The boop is real.
Yeah.
The boop is real.
And so I didn't make any money on Bitcoin, well, paper trading money on Bitcoin, because it just didn't quite get the order, but made out like a bandit on gold from the boop trade.
Did your stuff go with a mutual friend of ours?
Good.
Yep.
Good. Mentorship class was good. Nice review. All is good. Apparently thinks I know my stuff well, because you've been talking in my ear for a while. So the review is relatively simple, and we'll be moving
Memorize.
on. Oh, there's not lots to memorize, because you've already been beating all that stuff into my head. It's just, when you're assigned 50 hours of homework and you're an adult with lots of things going on.
It's hard. It's real. The struggle is real. The struggle is real for Bitcoin. Pedro, why don't we talk about Bitcoin? A couple of guys in the DeFi Dojo Lounge, they've changed their name again. It's now the Web3 Dojo Lounge. Let me find, let's see, awesome. It's going to be really interesting, because as we start to really move forward with TradeWave, right? And the amount of money like people are going to make from there is going to get fun. And as we bring people in, right? Like I will have a different flavor than you. I already know. Right? My trades will be much more secure. Yours will be, you'll have a lot more. You'll definitely have a lot more trades than me. But I'll probably have a higher win ratio, but they'll have more trades with you. Right? Because the way I trade is I like, what's up?
I'll say you're probably describing that accurately.
Well, here's the thing though, is you'll probably make more money than me, because you'll have more trades. Right?
Well, if my win ratio is only 2%, it's like
you're not gonna have 2%, bro. Your win ratio is going to be most likely around 60%, 58, 60 at first, and then it'll start to grow. Once you get past like that 55, 60, that's when just the fine tuning comes in.
Right.
And that's when you just gotta grind it out.
For those of you watching, maybe not understanding what's going on, for the past 2 years or so, I've been on a quest to become let me rephrase that, to become a trader, not to be, and then become a better one. And I started out the usual way, fucking around, and fortunately, I didn't lose money, other than play money. I didn't get hammered. I didn't get liquidated and bankrupt or anything like that. I realized where I was missing skills. And twice I stopped myself and took time off to gain skills. And now I've actually stopped myself a third time, and I'm in another class, which is teaching me a lot of the stuff Pedro's been teaching me and espousing over the years. And when it all sinks in and marinates, and after much typing and chart reading and back testing for hours and hours and hours, so I ripped through contact lenses. Right. Then we'll be ready to go.
And that, like I always tell everybody, if you haven't put at the chart, if you haven't put over 4,000 hours, I don't get out of here. Like, I don't want you haven't put enough of the reps in. It's like when somebody who gets upset and they're mad they're not lifting, that they don't have a body like Adonis, right?
Right.
And you barely put in 30 minutes in the gym. Like,
it's got to be muscle memory, eyeball memory, brain. Your brain has to be wired for it, and you do that by practice. And I know that from doing when I was a young kid. My dad taught me how to shoot, how to carry a gun and fire quickly in defensive situations and stuff like that. And he said it's going to take you 10,000 times of drawing this firearm to be somewhat good, to be really good at it, and for your mind to just do it on autopilot. And he said it'll take many more thousands than that for it to happen properly under stress, because you have to even work it in further. So when you're under stress, it works. And to this day, Pedro, even like I'm running around here in Canada where I don't have a firearm, and I'll see something weird happen on the street, big loud noise and people thing, and my first reaction is doing this, and I don't have it. And I'm like, fuck, where's Clyde? My gun's name is Clyde. I don't think I've ever said that publicly before.
Mr. Clyde, I think that's a really good. But that's the point. Is that being able to not only just recognize that that's a good trade, but under stress. And it's funny is you use the your gun, and I always assume of war. Whenever people think of guns, you think of wars and stuff like that. And so what happened is they put, was really interesting, a bunch of war vets together with a bunch of traders. Now, a bunch of war vets have very sick sense of humor. They typically have really dark sense of humor.
So do traders.
Well, what's funny is they brought these guys together thinking they would have nothing in common because one is filthy rich. Most, these were very successful traders, floor traders. And this was done like in the early 90s. The 90s or mid 90s. I forget exactly when it was. But they were just wanted to see if so they brought, nobody knew exactly what anybody else did. And it was interesting as they went through, and these guys just clicked like Legos. They were BSing, having a good time, the dark sense of humor, just all of it. And they were just like, it was strange. And they were like, how is it that these guys are like just connected? Like, it's weird. You would have thought they would have been different. And some were nerdy, some weren't. And the nerds hung out with the nerds, but they were all war vets, like seen a lot of time. And in Afghanistan or something like that. I forget. I don't know if it was. No, Afghanistan was late 90s, early 2000s. What was it? Iraq War in the 90s.
Yeah, the first Iraq War.
Yeah. And so they brought them together and started BSing. But I just thought it was so interesting because that mindset is like every day you go into war, you have to kill your feelings. You have to sit there and plan out according, but then at the same time react under stress on your training. And real training, there's an instinctual side to it as well as a rule-based side to it for training, right? Going through, doing your stuff, and the more you train, the more instincts you build, and then the more you can actually free flow. But if you're not training and you're free flowing, you're like a child that's just emotional. It's up and down. But if you're doing back testing, and this has everything to do with what Tom was talking about, that back testing, that going back and running the simulation in your head over and over and over and over and over, thousands and thousands of times, teaches your brain a rule-based system that you can ping pong off of.
Yep.
Within that rule-based system. And so you have the ability to understand what's actually happening.
I'll give you the quick summary of that. Pedro had taught me for a year to look at the volume right down here. And before I'd look at it and I'd be, oh fuck, I forgot to look at it. And see the volume's decreasing here? Means bad things are going to happen. Your trade's not going to play out as planned because the market doesn't have any volume or liquidity. It means it's going to do the opposite of what you want. That's how it works. Because you built your trade plan, your concepts on volume up here, so the market does certain things, and then when volume's down here, it just doesn't follow your plan. because there's not enough money in it. Took me a year. Now, as soon as I see I can just look at a chart and I know the volume off the top of my head because I have done it over and over and over and over and over again. Because I forgot it so many times. I'm like, Pedro, I can't figure out why this trade went against me. Pedro's like, there's no volume. I was like, you told me that last week.
But but the thing is, I love about it because like you were genuinely you would forget. It wasn't
right.
Like as if so I'd be like, where's your to-do list on your trade?
Yeah, it's even on the old to-do list. Check volume. I forgot. Foiled again.
But the key point is doing the thing that makes you a successful trader is doing the same thing over and over and over, the same way exactly.
Yep.
Get up. I look at my potential news that's coming in today. Next, I'm looking at the CME. I want to see if volume is leaving from CME contract A to CME contract B, right? They're the same product, but just is volume switching, right? Next thing that I'm looking at, right, is I'm now seeing is Trump scheduled to speak? Is anybody important scheduled to speak potentially? I have my Truth Social up, right? So I know if he tweets, I can immediately be like, okay, get out of this trade, especially if I'm up, right? Because I want to be able to sit there and engage what's actually happening. Then the other part behind it as well as this is understanding now the charts, right? And now many of you guys get very confused because I literally look at 8 to 10 charts, and each one I have 5 indicators. Okay, I have my moving averages, I have my volume, I have my average true range, right? And I have those on all of my charts, and they all play off each other. They all ping pong off each other. So I actually have to understand the full scope from the week to the 5 minute. And people think that's way too much. But I want to know what's going on at all times based off of the markets. I look at the monthly market, right? Like sometimes when I said, okay, when people ask me, how is it that you knew we were most likely going to come down to that 64 or 60 area and potentially that 58? Because that's on that monthly chart. So right now we're actually in a monthly area. Okay. We're at the middle of the week or the middle of the month. I talked about us from a 3-month period where we could expect to see it come down, right? And you can see here, right? We were up here. Remember in January, we were going, I said, I can't trust this. I can't trust this. I want to trust it. We may go through it, but I just don't trust it because our volume.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
And I said, and I kept saying, if the market is going up, we are going up. We're going to go long, but I do not trust the market going up. And you're like, well, are we going up? I said, no, I don't think we're going to continue up. Right. And that was here on this area. And remember, right off the jump in January, we're going up. And I said, look, we're not putting any demand wicks. There's no demand wicks coming in right here. And there's supply wicks for the last 2 weeks coming in. I thought we were going to hit the 50 and sell off. Right. But we didn't. They wanted to bring in more suckers. And so I said, if they're going to, and I had a close friend of mine, I said to him, he wanted to ask me because he had about $100,000 or two, I forget how much, but he had that amount when Bitcoin was at the I think he got in 116 or like 100 to 116, and he wanted price to get up to 100,000. And I said, it may, but it's got a lot of battle to go through. I go, it might get up to the 100,000, but if it gets up to there, it's going to go down for the rest of the year. And he goes, why do you say that? And I go, because it puts in the supply wick for the year. It goes up and then it's going to come down. That 30,000 mark area is a big deal, right? That's a lot of points. And so it's going up to go down. I go, I don't want to see that. I go, I want to see it go up a little bit and then come down. And I go, if we're going to see it come up, we're going to be hitting that 97,000 maybe. Remember we talked about, but I go, it's that 100-day period moving average that is really going to hold on to this most likely. And we're at a liquidity area, which is sitting right here. This is that 96 area. Remember I talked about this. Like, I doubt that we're going to get above this. But again, we had these demand wicks, which was okay. But when we had this big explosion right here on this candle, and then this candle, when you look, really wasn't a ton of volume comparatively to where all these seller wicks were sitting, right? Or these seller candles here up in this level. I go, there's no way that I expect this thing to continue higher. And I said, this is the area we'll most likely see it turn around. So sure enough, that's exactly what we saw. Then we saw it place off of this area right here, right? And this is when I said, I go, guys, it may get above this. But if we can't get above that 20 period moving average, which is the weekly 8, I go, if we can't go up while we're sitting here at the beginning of January, February, I expect this thing to continue down, right? Because I want to see it go down in February, the first 2 weeks of February, potentially 3 weeks. And then for the quarter, see it then start to get ready to take profit. See it go sideways and to go up. So like I said, I think now that we saw February come in, first thing we saw February, right? February was right here. Where are you at? February, here we are. This is February, okay? February doesn't have a supply wick. There's no supply wick in February for the month, which means
interesting.
that this is why I said, ooh, that's really, really good. Okay, so then we see it sell off, boom. We come down to our areas that I've been expecting. Like I said, that 64 to 54 area for me is what I was looking at. Really, this is what I really talked about on BTC magazine or BTC.com. And I said to him, I said, I really want to see this thing come in at these levels because that's really where I'm expecting to see it. And then I said this area between 60 to 55 area is where I'm looking to really put the majority of my powder. And so this was the part I got excited last week, right? I said, as we're going down right here, we're not putting in a lot of sell pressure, which means that they're getting ready to turn this around. So I said, I'm buying in this area. This is where I'm looking to deploy my powder. And so for myself, I'm now going, okay. Now, and I even said, even if it goes down to 30, at 50 to 30, yes, it's almost half. But that is, I think this area here is just packed with buyers. So I'm okay with that level there. I've seen it. If I see my portfolio get cut in half, I'm okay with that right here. Absolutely okay with that in this area, right? Because I'm dollar cost averaging at these low levels. And then I believe it's getting ready as it comes down into this level because we put in now the yearly demand wick. If you look at this here, right? The year, if we go up from here, from these levels, then all of a sudden we've got a nice demand wick. We can get back up into that 129, 130 area. And if not, even go up higher. Right? I think we put in the yearly demand wick here. And then we're going to see it go higher up into that 250, 300,000 area. And it fits more in line. Now, again, this is not going to do overnight. We're not going to see this overnight. But what I'm looking for is this, is that I'm looking for a higher amount of volume here, right? You can see here, we've got the 8 coming down into the 20. I don't like, I didn't realize that. I don't like that 20 there. Been so weak on me.
That 20 period moving average?
Yeah, that's not on the 3 month. See 6 month. Okay, not bad. All right, never mind. Your 6 month is bouncing off of here, good. So that makes sense. Boom. So you can see here we're playing off of that. We're bouncing off. So we're bouncing off that 6 month moving average 8, and this is showing sideways weakness. But I'm okay with that if we see the 6 month stay strong.
Pedro, your mic cut out there for a second.
Oh no, I didn't. I stopped talking. Sorry about that.
I'm not used to that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Come hang out and learn about crypto markets. There we go.
Where is that running? Ah, that's why I look yellow. My white balance is off. Let's fix that. That's better.
Boom, here we go. Boom.
That chart is
Yeah, sorry. So I'm looking at
full.
this here real quick. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can remove my drawings. I know there's a way to move all drawings.
well, you can hide them. Just the toolbar on the left at the bottom says hide drawings. But then as soon as you draw
Right
a new
here?
one, it brings it back up.
Oh, I'm okay. I just want to sit there and see this here as just a
Oh,
blanket.
that's right. You can draw with your other Chrome extension or browser.
Yeah, that's
extension,
exactly
too.
what I was thinking. Yeah, yeah. Could hit that too.
And so I was chatting with the fellas in the DeFi Dojo Lounge, the now called the Web3 Lounge or Web3
Yeah.
Dojo, and Reza said it looks like there's support at 55,000, and I just responded. He said we should probably go there, and I said we're probably going to go there this week, and he's like, "Oof!" I said it's not that far, you know.
Yeah.
To go. Bitcoin's quite volatile. Pedro and I have been talking about the 50s now ever since we were talking about 74, and that there's likely it's going to come down there. And we had a show about it last week in which we said is 60,000 the bottom, and we're like, meh. Needs to bleed out again. And so talking about that. And I responded, I said, it's likely going to come down this week. Obviously, I wasn't counting today as being a low liquidity day because I forgot about that. But it's coming. It's coming. And like you said, it's going to come. But you threw a wrench into my plan about just being confident of that in what you just said about the February candle. And it needs to pop back up to make the February supply wick.
Yeah.
But I do have that taken into account on the last week of the month in the old the monthly chart thing that I do here. Let's put that on. I just brought up my screen showing the monthly chart. Is that Bitcoin? Yeah, that's Bitcoin. In which, how, as Pedro always teaches me, it came in big indicator. The first week it moved a lot, came down. So that's a good indicator that the last week of the month is gonna do the opposite. Not necessarily go higher and mean higher prices, but then on the last week of the month, the trend will be up for it. And if we're gonna do that, then likely the week, if it's gonna be a strong up to make that supply wick that Pedro was talking about for the month of February, which we'll remember to talk about at length here. The week before, it's likely got to grab liquidity. If you're gonna have a big move, orders have to come in, and it pops down and grabs liquidity, and then goes up. And so that's the scenario I've built in my mind since for the month. And then when you're mentioning it still needs that wick for the month, I was thinking from the various things you've taught me, I was like, all right, it's gonna finish up. Maybe it'll make that wick. Which it would have to trade higher than the monthly open, which was I don't know. I can't. My hand runs off the screen. We could use real numbers and tell people, but I'd like to point. And so that's a scenario here that I see playing out, like just a big dump of Palooza down to 55,000, and then
and plus we have that. We have the monthly 50 period moving average sitting right there at 57,000, 57,000. So that's why, I feel like this is potentially the area. The fact that now I want you to look at that chart, that monthly chart. And what do you see? Right? There's a liquidity area, but with this monthly liquidity area, what also do you see? With your new skills, with your new eyes.
Well, I see a lot of things. I don't have. I guess I have. Yes, I have my moving averages on.
But look at my.
Oh, your screen? Sorry, I was looking at my screen. I see a candle that you've circled, and one with big supply wicks, and one with no supply wick. So if they're putting in supply, well, the wicks to me seem equal. Some are strong going on supply, some are strong on. Yep. That little area up there. Yeah.
1, 2. A vast majority of that.
It'll race through that.
Exactly. No wick. Boom. So that right there is absorption. So if we go from that 60,000 area here, we're starting to see it. Look right here, right? And when we look at the inner time frames, that's weird. Inner time frames.
Welcome DeFi Dude to the house. Was there any sort of holiday today? It's a holiday in the U.S. and in Canada. Was there any sort of holiday? I mean, I know there's a holiday like every third day in Europe. It's like, oh, it's Tuesday. Well, let's just take the day off. It's Tuesday. Got to celebrate Tuesdays. Was there any sort of holiday today in Europe? Liquidity is low today, but it's not extremely low. If it's extremely low, then I would think there was some kind of holiday going on over there. Of course, I live in Spain, so every day's a holiday, right?
That's interesting.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited. I'm excited though. Like we're at where we're at right now. Like this is a good area. I don't think it's a bad area. Just primarily because when you look at where we're sitting in this market, right? Like we're consolidating here. You can see here as we were coming down, we did put in a lot of demand wicks. Boom, demand wicks, right? As we're coming down, I wouldn't say as much because we're putting more supply wicks in, but you can see here decent amount, right? Like so they're starting to drop this, and again, I expect this to potentially go down lower. Okay, not a bad thing, because this area here is a good area. So this is where when I look at where we're sitting here in the 3-month market period, or 3-month chart, you can sit there and see that it came down exactly what we wanted to do. Came down to the areas where there's a lot of liquidity. It's picking up liquidity. It's probably going to want to go down this week again, go up and go down. But here's the key point behind it is that there's so much movement here. There's a lot of movement here, right? We're not seeing a lot of buyers, but we're not seeing a ton of sellers also staying in this area here. So that's a good thing. I think when I look at this, the fact that we're having a descending area of sellers, right? Which means that this area could be the area that we find the base. Then we'll put in a higher high and then a higher low, and then another higher high and then a higher low. Boom, we'll go higher again and then come back down, potentially take out this low here because they'll need liquidity. And then they'll take again another higher high. So those areas are cool areas that I like to look at to see what's actually happening. So something kind of like this, we'll see something like this. Below, boom. Maybe low here. Let's see something like this. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom.
You just drew in a lot of good trading days there, Pedro.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say is the trading days here. Because whenever you see that consolidation or like a huge sell, then a consolidation, it's like a spring that gets ready to build or gets ready to launch. And so those days are always fun days. And especially like when I think we're going to see a 3 to 5x of BTC from these levels, right? Like a 200 to 250, 250,000. I think this year. I know it sounds crazy, but adjust. Just say, I think we could. I hope I'm wrong, or I hope I am right. Like, I'm pro Bitcoin, and the part here is this. I think Washington, if he could have had sound money, I think he would have put in the Constitution. I think Jefferson would have put in the Constitution Bitcoin to stay away from the central banks.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. When for those of you just joining us, all 6 of you, the idea of today's show is President's Day in the U.S. today, so I just came up with an idea. Bitcoin, a modern marvel. Would the U.S. presidents of past even understand the concept of it? And obviously, they understood the concept of money. They had to run the federal government. They had to. A lot of them had to deal with central banks. A lot of them had to deal with getting rid of central banks. A lot of them had to deal with bringing them back. It was all over the board back then. We had just, when the country was founded, we had a currency crisis because states were issuing currencies, banks were issuing them. The government had its Articles of Confederation money, as I just call them, flip-flops they just printed them and ended up not being worth anything. And then they put the Constitution together and said only the U.S. government can have the legal tender for the country, and started its way up. Obviously, that was a summary for 250 years of roughness and dealing with that. But would these guys understand the concept of money that's not in your control? It's in the control of just generally the users of it, and how much the market demands of it. And even the concept of, remember, I think the first president that had electricity in the White House, it might have been Grover Cleveland or something like that. It was in the late 1800s. They didn't even have electricity. You think of all that stuff that happened, George Washington, Abe Lincoln, Civil War, they didn't even have electricity. They had the concept of, in the 60s, I guess, they started 1860s and 1850s. They got the telegraph, so they kind of figured out magnetism. So that if I click this here on a magnet, it does over there. So they had Morse code on the telegraph. But they had no idea the motive power of electricity and how it could push motors. And you could be in Iowa and turn a magnet, and a magnet in Russia moves. That's how it works. And you can do things like that by connecting them to a big wire. And it's cool. But to say, we're going to take this thing that we've developed, this magnetism thing, and it's going to end up controlling pretty much your whole life, and especially the money. And there's going to be these things called nodes, which people operate, and people outside of control of you guys, the government or the Federal Reserve or anything like that, Pedro. And they come in and they say, we're going to control the value of this, not the government. And there's nothing you can do about it, government, unless you print more money to buy it, thus devaluing your currency in the process to do it. They would frankly be mind blown. They'd be like, how is this even possible? And they would probably equate it to agriculture, where people get together in co-ops, enjoy all the corn farmers in an area get together and pool up into a co-op, which is essentially a node. They secure all their corn and they make sure the corn prices it match what's going on here, and nobody can come in and just dump a bunch of corn in their area because they got to pay to store it and they got to pay to dry it. They can't just show up with trucks and pile it in someone's yard. And so they would probably use an agriculture equation because the economy was largely agriculture back then. But then you start getting into the modern day presidents of war. Franklin Roosevelt, he sat through developing the nuclear bomb. And the science of that is who would thought that we can split wait, what's an atom? And if we split it, there's, the speed of light squared times the number of energies in it? What the hell are you talking about? Oh no, but we're gonna have these computers that can deal with your money autonomously without you doing anything. It would mind blow them. Then Kennedy comes in with the space program, and now our computers are more powerful and they're doing things, they're actually processing stuff, you can start seeing the understanding in it about that time frame about Bitcoin and its modern marvel. And then, of course, once ARPA, then what now is called DARPA, what was then called ARPA, invents networking and joins some universities together so they can exchange information on how to simulate a nuclear bomb testing. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, the internet's born. Thank you, Al Gore. And suddenly you have the concept of computers in different parts of the world processing different kinds of information. And that's in the late 60s. So by the time the 70s roll around and that's actually happening amongst universities and supercomputer sharing, the concept is fully there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first concept of digital money was brought up in the 70s. And then, they try it again with whatever cash it was, something cash in the 90s, and it didn't work out. And then Satoshi dropped the Bitcoin white paper and released what we have today in 2000 and whatever it is, 9 or 10, can't remember. And of course modern day presidents understand it. But even Donald Trump in his first term didn't understand. Who knows if he understands it now? But the people around him then mostly didn't. They were advising him that it was a scam. And people in Bitcoin in 2016 were like, no, this isn't a scam. No. Trust us. It's not a scam. This shit's growing, and it's all these people in it. There's a couple of million people doing this thing and validating nodes and all this type of stuff. So even as recently as 10 years ago, U.S. presidents didn't get it. Didn't get anything about it. So it's kind of interesting. I think you hit it right on the head. Did they understand the concept of sound money? Of course. They had to battle that every day. They had to battle counterfeiters. They had to battle other countries. They had to battle whether to be on the gold standard or not, or silver standard or whatever. And so they would, if someone just came up and there's this magic box and we spread them around the U.S. and it guarantees that our money will be safe and secure. And there's full records of everything of it. It's on like a ledger thing. But they're magic boxes. And,
right.
Who invented it? I don't know. Some guy, some dude, maybe Japan. I don't know. Maybe in Europe. I don't know. Maybe it was, the 1790 version of the CIA. And they would probably say, let's give it a try. What else are we going to do? We can run this printing press until it runs out of ink. Or we can rely on the magic box and it seems to work. And then we have these people, look, Jim's got this much and Fred's got this much and the Treasury Department's got this much. I think that'll work. So I think that would have been that would be at least an interesting, thought experiment if you took people that could put themselves back in that era.
Well, I think it all just comes down to this. We are a constitutional republic. And additionally to that, we also, part of that system, make sure that the little guy doesn't get beat up by the big guys. Okay, just that mindset alone, if you sit there and say, hey, we also figure out a way to make money smart, and it can't be controlled by anybody. And especially, like those guys over there called central banks that you guys absolutely hate, that you left, you get away from. And they'd be like, sold, let's do it. I mean, like, I think George Washington had been like, get it done, click, right? Like,
you mean, of all the things I got to do, I can check that off my list right now? Okay, click, next.
Yeah, I think they very much.
We need a Navy. All right, get some of that, go back to that last topic. Hey, we need some of that magic money. Let's go build a Navy. That's not how it works, boss. Okay, well.
No, but the thing is that they wouldn't have done that. Like, they still would have had a fiat system. I think they would have still created a fiat system. But the underlying of it would have been sound. Just saying.
Just saying.
Maybe I've oversimplified it.
No, that problem, Pedro, is still being fought in most countries of the world. I mean, like every African currency, every Central American currency, every South American currency, they're fighting the soundness of it, even to the point where Argentina, which is making huge steps, had to come to the U.S. and say, we need a foreign currency credit line here because
Literally.
we don't want to run short and have the whole thing implode. And Scott Bessent went, okay, click, here's $20 billion credit line guaranteed. And so that's something people deal with today. And you can see people, I'm sure people in their government are going, in every government are like, hey boss, my 12-year-old son's been showing this to me. Why don't we switch to this? Or stable coins, that are, part of that, or I shouldn't say stable coins because people think of dollar-based stable coins, but, a digital currency version that's backed by the Bitcoin chain or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're nailing that because in all reality, when I see the idea behind what Bitcoin stands for, sorry, I didn't think, we would definitely need a secondary system to allow for credit, because the reality is we know that
economies don't grow
Great
without
Depression.
credit.
Yeah,
Right? They just don't grow.
Yeah, the Great Depression was exacerbated because literally wasn't enough liquidity in the market to keep it from falling. That's why they call the Fed the last resort, the lender of last resort, to stave off the deceleration or the evaporation of money, right, through the stock market. And so that, you'll still need that. We're still going to need a similar system, but gold was the hard money, right? Gold was hard money. But as we're coming into an era of, I hate to say it, where Elon Musk is literally building, it's crazy to say, but he's going to build a manufacturing company on the moon.
In the
that
sky.
manufacturing. What?
Right.
I know it sounds crazy. I mean, it literally sounds like.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's not.
Yeah, it's happening. He's already putting it. He's already pushing it. I mean, and you're literally going to. It's going to be like Antarctica. I mean, it really is. You're going to have a McMurdo, a bay for the American. Call it New McMurdo. It's probably what they'll call it. And in that they're going to mine a ton of it was a helium-3.
Helium-3, yeah.
Yeah, which allows it's a much more cleaner fuel, which it's just more strong. The problem is not as stable sometimes, based off certain mechanism. But ultimately, they're going to build that, and they're literally going to sit there and go, "What asteroids have the most gold? Which asteroid has the most silver? And how do we use those for our GPUs?" That one has coal. That one has. Let's take it back down to America, to Earth. We'll mine it, and then we'll shoot it back up here. There's a movie, or there's a show called The Expanse, and there's.
I love The Expanse. I loved it so much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Dude, I just found it.
Oh man, I couldn't wait for the seasons to come out. It was nuts. I love that show.
Dude, it is so good.
How far along are you through it?
I just got to the first thing. And
you watched the first season?
Yeah. There's 3 seasons, right?
I think 4.
Oh, is there 4?
I can't remember what it was, but maybe only 3. Like most things, it gets a little wonky, but the show is so good. I mean, just coming up with the Epstein drive, where they can their rockets just work better and more efficiently, and so they can go to the moon, they can go to planets, they can do stuff. There's so many lines I want to say, but I can't because you're not there.
Hey, what? Hey, maybe I'm maybe I hit the wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Now I'm second guessing myself. Give me a second. Let me make sure. I just might be wrong. Is it The Expanse? It's the one where it's there's a thing on that planet and
it starts a wormhole kind of forms out in the middle of nowhere. There's it itself builds a ring that seems to be a portal to somewhere else. And then the crew, I can't remember the crew's names for some reason. Bob Dylan's son played one of them. Not Bob Dylan's son. No, not Bob Dylan's son. I can't remember his name. Anyway, but he's just like a regular dude in like a space junk and cargo ship. And then it's like the very first scene, he's like having anti-gravity sex with his girlfriend, and all of a sudden their ship comes under attack. He escapes. Next thing you know, he's controlling a Mars warship.
I don't think this is the.
You must be talking about the different show then.
I am. There's another one, The Expanse. It was in 2015.
There's more than one Expanse.
Maybe it's The Expanse versus Expanse. You know, they have so many. Now I'm like, dude, it's so good. Let me see if it's in my history. It should be in my history here.
Well, if you haven't watched the Amazon Prime version of The Expanse, the TV series, from 2015 to 2022. They took a couple of years off in between each season because they had to convince Jeff Bezos to refund it, and he didn't fund it until he saw the first season, and he's like, "Oh wow, this is actually really good. Let's get more of those." Yeah, I guess there's only 3 seasons.
No, this is not it. I gotta find it. It's so good. I just, as I'm looking at my history, I realized all I watch is sci-fi. I just realized that, like, and then romantic comedies.
I watch a serious amount of science fiction too. Even on YouTube, there's a channel called The Dust, or just Dust, and it just plays all different independent science fiction stuff that's like things from 2 minutes long to 30 minutes long that people self-make. It's so good. Anyway, we got sidetracked there, that's for sure.
Sorry, I'm like, nah, like, where is it at? Like,
it's a holiday day, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, everyone that's watching us. I see our number counts went up a little bit for a few minutes there. And now he has retraced once again, sadly.
Oh, what is it? We got to 9. I'm happy with the holiday. Shout out by all those guys who are watching us. Thanks for watching us. You guys rock the mic. We love you guys. Every one of you. And listen, I don't care what those other people say about you. I think you're great. You guys are awesome. Like 15 people. And how many times do I have to tell people? What? Let me see here real quick.
It's funny, Pedro, watching, I've spent so much time watching Bitcoin from a chart level that I know I can get the feel of it and how when it breaks certain moving averages and what moving averages it cares about and what ones it doesn't. And how in Bitcoin, one type of trade setup works pretty well. And then you go over to gold and it's like, nah, we're not going to do that over here. You know, it's, like on Bitcoin does seem to care about the low time period moving averages. Like, it's running up against that 1 minute and 5 minute 200 period moving average. And you go over on gold and it's just like, we care about the 4 hour and the 2 hour moving averages and higher moving averages and higher time frame moving averages too. It's really interesting getting to know that. And I'm saying that because I'm watching gold trying to break through the 5 minute 200 period moving average here so it can get going. And it's like at Bitcoin it would tap it like 15 times. And on gold it's like, nah, we're just gonna go above that, even on this low liquidity day. Now the question is, will the candle close above it or not? But still, it's just interesting how it's different. It's technical analysis, but the traders behind it are different. So they do different things. But wow, what's funny is that I was telling you about that gold trade. that I did on the TradingView paper trading when I did gold instead of micro gold, and it said like you're controlling $500,000 worth of gold. I was like, what? I was like, where on earth would I, what lunatic would trust me with $500,000? And then I was like, oh yeah, right, it's the paper trading, stuff like that. But one contract, and the amount of contracts that rip through the trading day on a normal trading day is so massive that the dollar values of the stuff that goes through the COMEX every day blew my mind. Even though I knew that from working there in the 80s, but I don't think I'd put a value on it.
It is probably done 5, I almost say 10 times, because when you look at the volume and these products, let me just show you here real quick. You can see a good example. Boom. Yes. We'll go 3 months. In the 1980s, actually, let me do gold. Let's go that. Because the financials weren't there when you were trading, right?
What do you mean financials?
The S&P 500, those are called the financials when it comes to.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. By one of the pits I worked, we traded the S&P 500 against what's now the ICE contract, ICE futures contract. Used to be called the knife. And guys would arbitrage that all day.
You're in the 70s, right? When you start, or 80s? Excuse me, no.
86.
Late 86. Okay, here's 86. Look at the volume here.
Doesn't even register.
It doesn't even start registering until 93. The whole entire period that you said, oh yeah, I was there. That's the volume.
Should have bought gold back then.
But here's the thing, look at it right here. So look at, you barely have anything right. You can see this is it right here. I'll see that right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where you're at. And you start to have the over here. Give me a second. Let me see if I can see what's going on. Let me see if I can remove this here real quick and then volume. Do that. Give me 1 second. Indicators, just to give you, so you can understand what Tom is talking about. Volume. No. 24. Maybe that's it. I just didn't realize it. There we are. But for whatever reason, it's not. It's basically next to nothing in comparison to when you look at what we see here. The amount of volume that came in just on gold and the amount of money that was being, once they really went off and really started bringing or expanding, that's a good way of putting it, expanding the monetary system beyond its limits. This is when you saw volume come in, right? Because people were then able to utilize products that were 10, 50, 100 times the actual value of that product, and so they were able to make that money. And so remember how I talk about how banks, they don't trade fair. When Shogun was talking about trading the market and gathering, billions of dollars, the problem is banks don't play by everybody else's rules than other traders. Like if you're an individual trader, even if you're a large institutional trader, but you're still an individual trader, you don't get to play on the same field that banks do. Banks get access to 100 ounces of gold for $10. Whereas you and I, even if we're great traders, will have access to that same product for $100. They literally, and so they can deploy $100 and get 10 times the amount of pressure than what I can. And so you just can't play with that. But at the same time, they make money on that, and then they funnel that money back into the system. Right? And then all of a sudden, then we all pocket that money, right? And that's the part that's so crazy, is that even though we don't think it, but we are all getting wealthier as time progresses, but at the same time poor, because through monetary money or ideologies, it also brings in crazy amount of inflation, which basically robs you of your money. But because we stay ahead of inflation for the vast majority of the Americans, or the last 50 years from the 1970s, this is where it's like we see money go, even though money doesn't go up comparative to the rest of the world, it is going up here in America. So that's why we're actually are getting wealthier compared to other parts of America or other parts of the world. But again, at the same time, but our standard of living is roughly around the same, if not worse, because of inflation. It sounds weird, but
I think I brought the PAX-G. It's easier for me to bring up the PAX-G gold price and stats than actual XAU USD pair. And there's quite the trade imbalance, or the price imbalance. Normally it's within $1, and Pax Gold's trading at $5,000 right now. $5,001. And the futures markets are trading $5,013, $12.
Well, I think also there's a couple of things there that with PAX-G is like, I believe they're a derivative of gold, that because they trade as such, like the volume in which they trade comparatively is not the same. Like there's a moment in time where
they have $251 million in 24-hour trades.
So let's say if a big bank gets in there and they want to trade that, we literally saw gold hit, I think 4,400, right? And then so I think let me go back to when it peaked out back in October 2025. PAX-G, what was PAX-G at that level? Was it at 4,800?
Let's see. Oh, my little machine here isn't giving me the date. It says 42. I think that's what it is. Let's just go find it. Let's bring up the old PAX-G here on CMC. Pax Gold. In October of, hold on, I'm going to sneeze here. Oops. Hit my mute button and brought up the wrong screen. PAX-G in October of 25 was 4,000. In October it peaked at 40. Yeah, I was right. 4,200 on the 15th of October.
I thought it went above almost by like 10% because so many people bought PAX-G, and then it came back to the level but it took a few days for that.
Well, maybe at the time there wasn't an easy way to quickly arbitrage things. Maybe someone hadn't set up a simple way to do it.
Gotcha. Okay, I see it. I see that perspective. All right, so this is a good example.
Good.
No, so you can see here, just to prove, like the amount of volume that we have seen come into the markets is so crazy that like it's insanity. It's absolute insanity. So these products, I think BaxG will definitely be a product that will always be there for life. Like I don't think it ever is going to go away. But he is, or they are almost as a way to almost test drive what something would look like on the blockchain. That's a good way of putting it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And it almost feels as if that works out correct, then we'll see all the instruments, everything trade that way. We won't see it go away. I just don't see it because there's just so much money that can be made with constantly going. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Want that? Sorry, I'm trying to fix my Stream Deck once again.
I do not know why I cannot find this show that I absolutely love. They take it off?
I hate it when platforms do that.
Maybe it's under Apple. I just don't realize I was thought.
Aha!
Very frustrating. They might have just taken it off. I can't remember the name of it. I don't think it was The Expanse now. I don't know why that popped in my head.
That show is just fabulous.
Fabulous. Maybe my stuff. I wish they like what you've watched. Why isn't there something on it that says what you've watched? Right? You would think that they would do that.
The marketing people are trying to cram more stuff on that screen.
Watched. No, watch list. Oh, that's funny. Have you watched the Schmitz Creek?
Oh, Schitt's Creek is awesome.
Schitt's Creek. Yeah.
This is Striking, and I love that show.
Just
Catherine O'Hara, who just passed away from cancer, was one of the key people. I remember she was Macaulay Culkin's mom in Home Alone.
She was fabulous, man.
Yeah, and but in Schitt's Creek, she's the character that she played. They must have given her an idea of what the character was going to be like, and then she just said, "I got this." Trust me, I got this, and
she's
made
like,
it.
I'm a mom. Don't worry.
It's just epic.
I think what's interesting is that that role was so iconic that whatever I saw her in, I just couldn't remove my brain of her waking up going, Kevin, like that mom speaking for her kid. Yeah. It was definitely one of those ones that I just thought was really interesting. She's awesome though. She's great. Whatever happened to her, that show? Is it still going, Schitt's Creek, or is it done?
No, they're done.
Got it. You go. You gotta find this, dude. It's literally driving me nuts now that I cannot find it, and my remote's not working right now. WTF. It is literally driving me nuts. So, anyways, any cool news this weekend that we need to know about?
I haven't looked at the news at all.
You've been just doing homework.
That had nothing to do with the news. That was just go back. Homework.
Yeah.
Just here, the main article on Cointelegraph is kind of what's been expected. Crypto funds logged the 4th week in a row of outflows. I think the weekend was so slow, and then it's a holiday today. Is that the AI has been writing all of these things, so they're of little value. Although there's always Decrypt always has. Oh, they always put a picture of Vitalik on there, and so you get creeped out as soon as you see it.
Do you think
Vitalik says hedging?
Creepy.
Hedging? No, dude. Every picture he takes, he looks like some kind of child predator. I mean, he just doesn't look. He just has this odd face, like, just there's the whole thing. And it's like they go and intentionally pick like right after he sneezes. Like, oh yeah, see, is that picture of him?
Yeah, and it doesn't help that he is like socially awkward to like the T.
Ethereum co-founder argues that prediction markets' current focus on short-term crypto bets is putting them on a path to corp-o-slop. Hedging on prediction markets could replace fiat currency? No. This guy's been taking too much Ritalin.
What are you gonna do? I don't know. I think speaking of child predators, did you see that whole entire viral thing of Michael Jordan with that little kid? Absolutely.
The concept
was. I literally was like, not Michael Jordan, please, God, not Michael Jordan, bro. Like,
the concept was that he was saying, look, I have the new logo on these shorts, but but then there's also the other thing is like, why would that, if that was something nefarious, why would it be filmed, right? Why would it be recorded?
Because the world doesn't have any more of that crap. And they're going people like a witch hunt. And I think they should.
All I know is that said the same thing. I'm like, no, not him. Please, no, can't, no.
Like I was like, literally everything in me was like, holy.
When it first came out, I thought it was like,
First I thought it was AI.
No, I just thought he was part of the Epstein thing. I was like, oh, another celebrity at the Epstein thing, and more false accusations and that type of stuff. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, bleh. I have a feeling it's something taken way out of context, and you'll hear from Michael on that.
I don't know, dude.
Or the kid, or they'll be like, well, no. Yeah, let's.
I don't trust anybody anymore, at all. I just don't He's a smart businessman. It just doesn't make sense to me that the way just I don't know, dude. It's crazy to me. It's just absolutely crazy. And I don't understand why I cannot find my history now. Find history. Why can't I find my freaking history? Why are they doing this? This stuff is just so annoying. But you don't want me to like look at my past stuff? Why wouldn't you want me to look at my past stuff? Oh, because they want me to watch new crap so they can sell
right.
it. I got it.
Literally, there's an article today that says, this is how you know that the Decrypt is writing, or Stacey Jones is
That's what it is.
Writing AI slop here. Bitcoin boom bust era is over as institutions take the lead. Crypto's adolescence is over. Institutional capital is changing the rules of engagement. Okay, that's true. But she talks about it being boom or bust era is over. We literally went from $127,000 to $59,000 in a period of 6 weeks. And for her to say The boom or bust era is over is ridiculous.
Well, it's just them
Ridiculous.
bring in buyers so they can drop it off a little bit more. But it's part of it. Jumping back here real quick. It was really interesting. It's called The Foundation. What's the name of it?
Oh.
I don't know why I was thinking The Expanse, but it's called Foundation.
I have not
And
watched that.
It's 2 years old. There's two things of it. And it's really good, like freaking. And there's this one part where they build. So human race has expanded now to thousands of Earths, right? Or not thousands, but thousands of planets. Human race. They've literally forgotten. I mean, it's literally been. And instead of having like a group of federation of people, right? What happens is there is a human race has picked a human being that is basically like a king, and what happens is they clone him, and what happens is that king or that human being is cloned, and there's 4 parts of him, there's 4 parts. There is the child.
It's a book series. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a child, there's a young man, there's a mid-aged man, and then there's a dying man, right? And they're all the same clone, but there's this period in time, and so it's one is called dawn, one is called midday or day, the other one is called dusk, and then the other one that dies is basically like he's just old enough, and they know, and so what they do is they read their history of how they're supposed to be, and it's what's the trip is, it's based off of this it's just crazy. Anyways, the reason why I say this is they're going through, man, and there's like the Earth. It's not Earth, but there's this. It's like Earth, and it's where that guy lives. And there's this huge like elevator that it was built from Earth all the way up to like out in space, and you come and you dock, and so what they do is they bring a ton of goods of like through like the astro field or the astro area, or even from other nations or other worlds, and they bring it in, they dock it, and then they bring it down to the planet. And it's like an 8-hour like thing that it's like an 8-hour. Anyways, I say this because wouldn't it be dope if Elon Musk built something like that?
The space elevator. There's all sorts of engineering thought studies on how to build one.
There's no way. You can't do it. There's no way. Just a gravitational pull from once it goes into orbit to it traveling through the actual. I mean, how are you going to keep it from like that free fall? Like, I forget all the mathematical things, but it's basically you can't do it. There's just no way to do it.
It's I was reading one article about it, how they said that that by balancing out in geostationary orbit, they could build it, but they couldn't figure out a way to keep it structurally secure, because even the Earth, because it's the bottom part of it's facing drag from the atmosphere, even though it's moving with the atmosphere, it still has the atmosphere to deal with. The upper part is heating and cooling from direct sunlight, so it's expanding and contracting. So it's even still, it's doing a wave like, and they're like, people are definitely gonna all die.
Yeah, that's what it was, that's what, like, I think maybe read the same article. You probably read a lot more, but the one that I read was just basically saying because of the expanding and the cooling, the gases that go from the base layer of Earth to space, it would change the metal structure, because the pressure of the metal would expand based off of the less gravity, how things are moving, I guess, something like that. It changes the molecules. And so they were saying, and like you said, with especially the heating directly from the sun, there is no atmospheric shield to them for the heat. So the elements, you go from absolute zero, which is, was it 416, a negative 416 or something like that, right? Absolute zero, to scorching heat.
Right.
You know, when the sun hits you.
Yeah, it can be on either side of the structure. One side is like the spacesuits that they make. On one side it's taking 273 degrees Celsius, and the other side it's minus, it's 1 degree Kelvin.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's absolutely crazy. And so it's like, we're not there yet. It's gonna, this guy or this person was writing saying, maybe with AI, we might find something that will be plausible, but as of right now, no.
It's an Isaac Asimov series of books, a famous science fiction writer.
Oh,
he wrote it, and he wrote it in the 1940s.
Oh, it's good, dude. Oh, it was written in the 40s? So they.
It was written by Isaac Asimov from the 1940s onwards and became a big influence on many sci-fi classics that came later, including Star Wars, with its vast galactic empire and its rebellion against it, all-encompassing blah, 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 blah. All right, I'm looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. It's actually really good. It's really good. The only part I don't like about it is that it drags, though. That's the only problem. Is there's
just because
really
there are not enough hoochie coochie scenes in it or something. I mean, at least The Expanse, right? Within 10 minutes, they start that show out, and the guy's having space sex.
No, there's sex in it, but that doesn't matter to me. Like, because I'm going into the show wanting to know about, like, see cool, like, sci-fi stuff, like other worlds, other cool things, right? Like, that's one thing that is so cool about Dune, right? Like, Dune really makes you see that the difference between, like, other worlds and the Iodine Spice, or with again, I'm nerding out here, but when we're talking about, let's say, Lord of the Rings, right? And watching Lord of the Rings and how that all works, I think it's fun. Anyways,
Crypto Mike in the house. Thanks for joining us, Crypto Mike. It's a holiday today, Mike. As you know, the markets are very soft. Pedro and I just got on a long discussion about, well, nothing. Science fiction.
We just been BSing.
The list people or island folk are in your system. You know what I enjoyed about the whole island thing? I went through much of it frequently or recently, and then used AI to go through it. And there's no accusations against anybody, actually, and there's no evidence of anything except for the lady that got arrested, and Epstein himself, and this other French guy that was providing models and stuff like that. He got wrapped up in the sex trafficking part. But all these other celebrities, everybody went. The FBI says, no, we just have recordings and things like that of them just partying at his island and stuff like that. And there's no accusations there's literally no credible kids that are now grown adults saying, oh yeah, celebrity X, Y, and Z all had their way with me and stuff like that when I was 12 or whatever. There's nothing. There's no big list the FBI said, yeah, we investigated all these things, and turns out there's nothing to prosecute except the sex trafficking, in which they were bringing in underage, 17-year-old triplets from France to engage in things with the person that is now dead, Mr. Epstein. Clearly he had a problem. But everyone else, the media and social media, is just lumping all these other people that even if they went on his jet, I mean, he's a billionaire and one of the top socialites in Manhattan. I mean, people interact with socialites in Manhattan and in all parts of the world. And there's literally not even a shred of evidence about anything. Millions of pages, interviews, recordings, tapped phones, you name it, everything. And the one person they had evidence on, three people. The lady that's in the joint, Epstein himself, Muerto, and then that dude in France. So there's actually more guilty Frenchmen than Americans.
Are you there?
Because the lady that's in the joint isn't even American. She's British or something like that. And Epstein's not guilty because he's dead. Didn't get through the process. Oh, social media. You guys blow things out of proportion. Did your internet connection die?
Yep.
Yes, it did. We got pretty far into the show.
Well, we didn't talk about anything crazy until the end.
That's a good point. Well, maybe it's a holiday for the China censors too. They didn't.
Well, we didn't
Denial of
talk
service
about
attack your
China.
No, we didn't even mention them.
Not once.
Here's the question, Pedro. Here's the question. How come your internet connection dies, but mine never does? What malware? The point is, what malware do you have on your computer that can be controlled? Now I've put the funk in your head, and you're gonna freak out now.
I am. It's gonna be like, time to throw this thing out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to making a little money. I have one of the treats that I'm going to buy myself after I start properly trading again is just a replacement computer, because this one from I think it's 2021. It was just before Thanksgiving in 2021. My other one, I went to Boston to visit my son, and I brought the computer because I had a big gig I needed to do, so I brought the computer. And I shipped it home, and UPS broke it. Thankfully, I took the special insurance, and they paid me in full for it, so I replaced it. I guess it was Thanksgiving of 2020. Oop. The interwebs is back.
Interwebs is back.
I brought up the gold futures again. Just watching it, trying to figure out its next move. I'm in another paper trade, a long trade in it, and it's I forgot. I'm using two different systems for paper trading. I just started using trading views, and I like it for their paper trading. But my other trade is now down $75. Do no love.
No love.
Oh, I'm sorry. Only $25. The screen just updated. Oh, I see. Yeah, it dipped back down to 4,995. It came back up, breaking through the 200 period moving average here. I don't even know what chart this is at. This is a 15-minute chart. Here's the 5-minute chart. So gold coming up through the 200 period moving average pretty nicely. Came through the 8. Or I mean, it's the 8's following it up, which is good. The 100 period, it broke through the 100 period and the 200 period pretty much in one 5-minute candle. I'll buy that for $1. Where's our friend BTC doing? Still hanging out. Still have my paper trade order to buy Bitcoin at 67,245. I think I'm gonna kill it and then reevaluate the markets. In fact, I'm going to do that. Boop, goodbye. Cancel order. Goodbye. Order canceled. It's right though, because what Pedro, in the class you learn, you're taught keep reviewing things. Look through your time frames 25 times a day. That stuff. Do the habit to form the habit of how often you're doing it.
Are we frozen?
Are we frozen? No. I've got my feed up and running in Chicago, and I can see it running fine.
Do I have?
Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. He's wondering who he is today.
Yeah. Who am I? Are you sure we're not?
I'm looking at well, at least I'm looking at the Rumble feed. That's working. Let me try it, see if I can bring up I don't have the YouTube feed up, but I can look for it. YouTube's working.
I'm showing I'm frozen, so okay. As long as you show it that you're good, that's all that matters. Oh, wow. Part of me almost wonders, like, what is up? Now you got me.
Anyway, what I just did is I had a Bitcoin order in here to go along. We know Bitcoin is trending down, but it had a nice area that I expected it to dip down to. This morning it did dip. This dipped right down, got within $30 of my order, and then retraced back up. So I left it in there, and I was like, wait, I really need to reevaluate the markets. I haven't reevaluated Bitcoin since well before the show started, and so my brain automatically told me, hey, don't just leave an order in because it was good earlier. You need to reevaluate it and make sure it's still a good area to get into a trade. And it's likely not going to be because, the market came right to it and then left. Or it could be that it's considerably strong there, and so the market's going to come back to it and get it again. And I'm not. The long order wasn't to, just say, hey, this thing's going back to 90,000. No, it was just to say, hey, that's good. Market's going to dip down there real quick. Liquidity grab. It's going to go up for a little bit. I'll sell it, make a few bucks, and then it's going to come back down again because we're obviously on our way down here on Bitcoin. Oh, it's 2:00 already too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 2:00, Doc. It definitely is. I'm ready.
I've got a grocery store quesadilla coming up for lunch, and I've got to doctor it because it's not going to be good from the grocery store. So I gotta get the spices out and whatever I can pillage out of the fridge to doctor it up and make it taste better.
What do you typically throw to doctor it up?
Well, I'll hope we have some salsa because we had chips the other day.
Yeah.
Maybe a little pico. And I think we may have some guac left over too. So if all that is, then that's going in there. And those were all fresh stuff. Purchased,
no
but
cumin,
fresh.
No salt, no onion.
No, it'll get a little salt. It'll get a touch of. I only have garlic powder. We don't have any fresh garlic.
Garlic and onions, and then I actually like to throw a little bit of smoked paprika, and then tikka masala.
Tikka masala.
Yeah, I'll throw that in with some smoked paprika with some cumin, a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic salt powder. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll throw in a little bit of brandy, right? And then I will throw in some garlic, some onions, right? And then with that, I'll actually take a little bit of Italian seasoning. I'll throw it in there with a little bit of butter after that. Boom. And then I'll throw in the garlic powder, then the onion powder, just a little, with the tikka masala, and the smoked paprika. And so
Well, that would assume I would have those things in this thing we call the kitchen over here. That's not likely.
One thing I also mess with is I'll mess with a little bit of magnesium malate for a little bit of bitter taste, but it sits well. And plus the magnesium is good for your body. And I'll put that stuff in there as well.
I just I sneak the multivitamin that the missus takes, but it's Centrum for women, so I'm gonna grow boobs after a while after taking it. It's the same shit, just different label. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're finishing up the show here. As you can see, if you stuck with us the whole time, well, you need to go check yourself into a hospital. But if you did happen to stay, we started at 67. Now we're actually up a little bit in Bitcoin, but expect it to come back down and test that 67, 245 era. See if it busts through there. If it does, we're going to go down pretty quickly to the next level. If not, it's going to go up just a little bit before doing what Pedro said, and that's go down, ladies and gentlemen. And on gold, we're hoping for just to continue the uptrend here, so Tom can, and of course it's not, as soon as I say that, can have a positive demo trade. Anyway, Crypto Mike, DeFi Dude, and the crew, everybody, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Not even going to put the regular outro on, just put the chill music up a little bit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. The man in the box next to me, Mr. Pedro Garcia. Pedro, no show tomorrow afternoon, right?
Yep.
Okay. Stay in touch. Maybe a space lounge tomorrow night. Maybe not, but we'll definitely be here on Wednesday. We're gonna have a guest. His name is Michael. He's a Bloomberg market intelligence writer, writing about gold and commodities and stuff like that. And he worked back in the commodities trading pits back when I did a long time ago. So we're gonna have a nice conversation with him. Not a long one, but a quick one. He's giving us his time during his lunch to talk about a number of topics about gold supply, who's buying it, who's not buying it, and BRICS. BRICS nations and what they're doing up to, that type of stuff. Anyway, so join us. We'll have a good show on Wednesday for sure. Perhaps Tuesday at some point we may have a space lounge in the evening. You never know, so stick around. As always, adios muchachos. I'm gonna hit you with the bong. Kabong.
You are free to do whatever you want.
All right.
Do you know who you are?